Hello, today we're going to build an intricate circuit system which runs based on a thermistor that within range should be able to indicate if something is above or under 80 degrees. Right now, as the green light is present, this circuit system reads that the temperature around me is under 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Should I add a little bit of weight to it as well as a heat to it, you're going to see that the light changes red, and that's completely normal because now my code is indicating the temperature has risen above 80. Now it has turned green as it fell down below. What you see in front is a coding sequence that's going to help the circuit system run. Here are the things that we're going to be needing for this experiment. The first is going to be a USB cable, which is going to power our Lego Uno R3 power board. To the side of that is a 10K resistor, which we're going to be using on our working foundation, that being the breadboard. Of course, jumper cables will be needed. I use some of different lengths. It's not necessary to do the same, but I'm doing so just to have a cleaner circuit. At the same time, we're going to need two LEDs, preferably one red and one green, as well as a thermistor and a connecting cable, which the thermistor is going to be placed upon. There's also going to be a coding sequence. This sequence was provided by the professor, but it looks a little something like that, which is then going to be plugged into the Arduino program. More on that later. Now that we have the build in front of us, we're going to go ahead and put away the power USB, because that will come later as we're coding the sequence. Right now, let's go ahead and build the circuit system. Using our breadboard, we're going to go ahead and place the 1 to the outer side, that being toward my right hand. Then I'm going to go ahead and take my power bank right over here, and what I'm going to go ahead and do is start off with connecting my jumper cables. One of them is going to be grounded at the first end, just as such. And I'm going to go ahead and take this grounded strip and I'm going to go ahead and put it on the negative right side of the board, just as such. Now that I have that placed, the next thing that I'm going to go ahead and do is take yet another jumper cable, and I'm going to go ahead and put this one at A0 in the analog section, just as such. This other end, where I'm going to go ahead and place, is going to be right above the 19th mark, which, if I pass it along over here, should be conducted, say, right here. There we go. Oh, 18 mark, my mistake. Okay. So it should start to look a little something like this. That's where I'm going to go ahead and take my resistor, my 10K resistor, and I'm going to go ahead and put one end to the side of that other end jumper cable, and I'm going to go ahead and put the other end at the third, if I can get it in there, negative side right over there. So it should be a diagonal placement, just as such. Okay. To move on from that, what I'm going to go ahead and do is take my connecting cable, just like such, and I'm going to go ahead and place one end on the positive and the other next to the resistor, which means if I go ahead and take this end, I'm going to place it within the same column over here as I have my red jumper cable. I'll demonstrate in a bit. And I'm going to go ahead and put the other end at the fourth on the third. Great connection as such. I'm going to notice that at the end there's two openings, and that's exactly where I'm going to go ahead and place my thermistor. I want to be very careful with this because I don't want to damage any part as I'm doing so, especially my little wires, just as such. But I got to make sure that it's deep in there. So we're back, and this is where we placed. We need to be very careful with this because it is very easy to slip out. As long as it's in there, we should be good. But to continue on forward, we're then going to go ahead and use another jumper cable so that we can go ahead and connect this one over into our positive side. To do that, I'm going to go ahead and place it at 5 volts on my power end. And I'm going to go ahead and take the other strip, and I'm going to go ahead and place it on the positive just below the 30th mark. We're talking at around that point. Sweet. Once we're there, we're going to go ahead and then use 2 connecting cables that we're going to go ahead and place down. This is what's going to be the connecting end between our LEDs and the power board. And to do that, we're going to go ahead and place one at 2. Go just as such over here. Again, I'll show closer images in just a second. Once we take this cable, we're going to go ahead and place it right at the middle column at H. And it should be right around here. The other one being number 3, right around, if I can get it in, right around here as well, maybe just a pace or 2 below. The last thing that we're missing is going to be our LEDs, which, if I know anything about LEDs, we're going to go ahead and put the shorter side on the positive side. One end is going to go negative. The other end is going to go ahead and go positive just below our end cable over here. Good. 1. And then, of course, we're going to go ahead and do the same with red. Place 1 with the negative, the other one near the other end. This should be our circuit built together. Let me give you a closer look. So now we have our system as I displayed a little bit earlier and built in front of you. If we take notice, these are not lit, and that's because this has no power to distribute. What we need to do is take one end of the USB stick and plug it in. You're gonna notice that now it's been lit. Now, this is a working resistor. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier, it's on behalf of a coding sequence that was provided by the professor. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is copy all of this code so that I can then attach into the Arduino code software. If you take note over here, it's the exact same code. However, I've made emphasis on the fact that I want to see Fahrenheit as my given temperature, not Celsius. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just adjust very quickly from a TC to a TF and change the units from C to F. You're going to notice that as I plug in my device, it should pop up as it'll immediately read the code. So I make sure that this is working. What I'm going to go ahead and do is upload my code. And once that's done, based on a marking down there, I'm going to then go ahead and come over here to verify the code. Again, once that's done, I'm then going to go ahead and place my mouse over the serial monitor that I'm going to go ahead and click. That is when I'm going to see this come up. If that doesn't come up, I can just go ahead and press it again so that I get my temperatures as a live read. We see that because temperature is under 80 degrees, the light bulb, the LED, should be green. As I mentioned earlier, should I come up to the thermistor and add a little bit of heat with my fingers, this should turn red. And that's because temperature has risen above 80 degrees, which our code states. If it's above 80 degrees, let the light bulb turn red. If it's under, it should turn green because it went under 80.